there is one thing which is common in all of us, that is the word called mistakes. So by the time you reach 30s, all of us have landed up doing many mistakes. But the mistakes you do in 30s what you did in your 20s is very, very different. So how about if I can tell you some top-up mistakes that all of us land up doing in our early 30s, so that you can ensure you actually don't at least repeat them or learn from them and not do the same mistakes. Probably create your own newer mistakes, if any. But let me tell you some of the most common financial mistakes that all of us land up doing in our early 30s, so that you can learn from it and not repeat those mistakes in your life. I'm Swati Singhania, and in this video, we're unlocking financial literacy for you. So how are 30s different from 20s? 30s are a place where you actually have a little bit of income. All of us are a little bit financially stable most of the times. We do have a stable earning, we've set our lives to some extent, and most of us are also married, kids, etc. So by this time, you do have a lot of responsibilities, and you've also increased your source of income. In fact, some of you must have reached to a large extent financial independence, or you are very, very financially stable by now. So there are some mistakes which are only prone to the 30s, because these mistakes are mostly done when you have a lot of financial stability. So the first mistake that all of us do in our 30s, I think, is we actually start investing, or we start spending on people around us too much. So you will start spending on your family, which will include your spouse, children, parents, siblings, etc. So what really happens? There is nothing wrong in this. Obviously, why not spend on them when you have the sources for it? But it is mostly said that before you put oxygen mask on your neighbor, please put oxygen mask on yourself. So before you start taking care of people in your life, have you planned enough for yourself? And I think this is very, very true when it comes to planning for your children and your kids. So it's very nice that you're planning for your kids. You're planning for their higher education. You're planning that by the time they're 20, 25, they should have so much money. They don't have to bother for their life. Yes, very true. But have you even thought of the fact that if by your retirement, you do not have retirement fund, or you do not have sufficient money, ultimately you will have to depend on your children. So all the financial planning that you did for your children is going to be of no use, because you are left with no money. And so you will ultimately have to be dependent on them. So believe me, there is nothing better than being self-independent, and your kids are going to thank you multiple times if when you are old, you don't have to depend on them financially. Medically, physically, it depends, whether you are working out, whether you're not working out, etc. You're taking care of your body. But at least financial is something that you can plan. The first suggestion that I can give you is that it's extremely important to start your plan first. And this is where the second problem also comes in, that we do not have a financial plan. So by 30s, you do have income. If you do have income, I'm hoping you have started saving. But in what form have you started saving? Have you given it a thought that how much money you will need for your retirement? Have you given it a thought that how much money you will need for your children? Have you given it a thought that how much money you would need for your own problems? So in case you go through a medical emergency, in case you go through a situation where you do not have any income for 2-3 years, have you planned emergency fund? Yes. So if you don't know what emergency fund is, click on this link and understand what emergency fund is. So have you done this financial planning? So the first problem is that you spend too much on others and you don't think about yourself. You think, okay, I am earning, I'll take care of it. But if you are the sole bread earner of your family, what happens to your family if anything happens to you? So the first person that you have to take care is yourself. Only when you are taken care of, then you can actually take care of others and people around you. So it's said that if you are happy, you can make others happy, right? But having said all this doesn't mean that you keep all your money to yourself and you don't share it with your family and friends. Yes, because you have to share it with your family and friends, because that's where the happiness comes in, right? That's where the joy lies, sharing it with the others. And second, pull up your financial plan. If you don't know how to pull up a financial plan, again, click on this link here. In this link here, we broadly told you how you can actually do your own financial planning. Now, there's a detailed video, there's also a small video. And in case you want us to do your financial planning, you can actually click on the link below which takes to you or my firm, which is the Prime CFO, where we are actually helping people do their financial planning. Now, that's the second mistake. What do you think can be the third mistake? Yeah. So the third most important mistake that we all do in our 30s is that we think that we have sufficient income. Oh, I just got a raise and there's a 20% increase that I got. Oh, instead of 20 lakhs, now I'm earning 50 lakhs. Instead of 50 lakhs, I'm earning 80 lakhs. Fair enough, super good. I hope you earn 8 crores tomorrow by now. But have you thought that why are you buying car first and not a house first? So all of us, and I have to confess this with you guys, that I have also made the same mistake. Investing in depreciating assets first and appreciating assets later. So what is a depreciating asset? Depreciating asset is something that you buy and its value reduces the same day. So let's say you buy a car of 10 lakh rupees. Now, as soon as you buy this car of 10 lakh rupees, within the next week, if you want to sell it, you'll have to sell it for 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs, 8 lakhs, right? So the value immediately reduces and there's no appreciation that you can expect on a car. And there are a lot many depreciating assets like that. But what is appreciating assets? Appreciating assets is something like a property. You buy a flat for yourself. You buy an office for yourself. Investing in gold for that matter. Or at times even investing in equity. But gold and equity are driven by market. But if you look at real estate, if you look at a house, if you buy it at 15 lakh rupees, in the next 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, or even after a week, if you sell it, you will not get anything lesser than you have invested unless you're doing a crash sale. So most of the times you will get some appreciation on the asset, even if you sell it after 6 months, 1 year or so. And that's an appreciating asset. The value of a property always increases, but the value of car is never going to increase unless you bought an antique car. That's an exception, right? So this is a mistake that I've also done. The point I started having sufficient income, the first thing I bought for myself was a car because I thought that it's a great asset to buy and it actually was a lifestyle driven ambition purchase too. But today when I look back on that, I think I should have invested in a property at that point of time and not a car, because when I bought a car, it's not just the car, it's the monthly expenses which comes with it, which is the petrol, which is a driver, which is, so many things attached to it. And so always try and invest in a appreciating asset first. And once you are done with appreciating asset, then go for a depreciating asset, things like a car. Now guys, since I'm done with the top 3 problems, let me tell you the next 2 mistakes that most of us land up doing, especially in our 30s. So, what happens in 30s? We think that, okay, we are Vishwamitra or, we are gurus by now. We have all the knowledge possible because you've read it somewhere or you've heard a friend talking about it or you've just seen someone buying it and getting richer overnight. And so now, getting influenced by these, what you land up doing is you land up buying very, very complicated products, especially when you do not have a knowledge for it. See, complicated products are made so that they can actually, include that small clause and, you actually don't get money out of it and you realize, oh, I invested so much in this product. But when it comes to it, you're actually not getting anything out of it. And this is very, very common when it comes to insurances, when it comes to stock options, when it comes to futures. So, stuff like that, if you are knowledgeable enough, then go ahead and buy complicated products. And my recommendation is, even if you're buying a small SIP of 500 rupees, read about that product, Google it, look on our videos. There's some great videos we are making on some of these products. So look on those products, study them, and then go ahead and invest in it. You don't want to lose your hard-earned money. The amount of effort all of us have to take, even to earn that 10,000 or 5,000 or 100 rupee, is of too much effort. You don't want it to go for a waste. So do not buy complicated products unless you think you're a champion. And if you think that you are really liking that product, I have a small suggestion for you. So the person who's selling you that product, ask him that how much are you really making of it. So if he is making too much commission out of it, then you really need to bother and worry about that product. But if the commission that person is making is not very huge, then you don't need to worry so much. But still, how about taking a second opinion? Now, second opinion is something which is very, very common when it comes to medical. But I think it's now started applying to finance also. all our financial decisions, look for a second opinion on it. So if your one friend is telling you, okay, buy this particular stock that I've seen, speak to your second friend and say, I am hearing to invest in this script or this stock or this particular investment option. What do you think of it? I'm sure you'll have some champion friends, and if you do not have it, you can always drop us a comment or send us an email and we will ensure to reply to you on that. Now, when you invest in complicated products, ensure that you've read all the scripts, subscripts, asterisk marks, every clause possible before investing in it. Otherwise, go for some very, very simple products. Beauty is in simplicity. So invest in simple products is what I have a recommendation for you. I have also been a victim to it. I landed up investing in some very difficult products, and believe me, they don't give any returns, especially when you want them to give you returns. You have a claim for that insurance policy and you want that company to pay up, they will not, because there's a small clause to it. Or you've invested in a stock option and you thought, okay, it's going to give me 10 times, 100 times return, and what you see is, okay, it's just vanished suddenly. All of us have made that mistake, and I have been a champion of making this mistake. Do not repeat this mistake, because that is why this video is for you guys, so that you don't make those mistakes that most of us have landed up making. Now, the fifth mistake, which I think that all of us champion by the time we reach 30s, is about delaying decisions. So we delay our decisions. Okay, I know financial planning is important, but let me do it next year. I know buying health insurance is important, and I know my 10 lakhs of health insurance is not going to be sufficient. I should increase it to 50 lakh rupees, but let me do it next year. So everything gets postponed to next year, and then next year becomes next year, and then next year becomes next year, and you suddenly realize, oh, where did my 30s go? So the amount of planning and investment that is needed in 30s is extremely important, but you keep on delaying decisions because you started taking life so seriously, and you decide spending on this is more important than investing in that. Renovating my house is more important than buying a new property altogether. And so delaying decisions harms us more than not taking them, for that matter. So if you are still confused about that decision that you can't make, let me offer my help. Write down in the comment box below. Tell me what is actually blocking that decision for you, and let me give my best advice so that at least you have a second opinion from me. And here all advice is free, right? So it doesn't cost you anything. So go ahead, write that in the comment box so that I know that where are you getting stuck, and we can help, me and my team can help you at least take that second opinion and arrive at that decision as quickly as possible. So I think that these are the top 5 mistakes that all of us land up doing in our 30s. And we think we are champions by the time we reach 30s, but we make these mistakes which we are not so prone in our 20s, but we make them so much in 30s. Please learn from us. Don't repeat these mistakes. Ensure that you put up your financial plan in place. Ensure that you start putting your oxygen mask first. Invest in that appreciating asset and do not delay decisions. So unless you start doing all of these, life is not going to be simple. And ultimately what we need is that you have a simple and happy life, and there should not be any scarcity to it. So I hope these videos are helping. Do send us your feedback on the comment box below, and do not forget to hit that like button. Your like really matters to it, and I'm super grateful that you guys are putting that effort and watching our videos. We love the love and affection that you're sharing with us. So looking forward to our next video where we are going to bring in more and more interesting topics. So see you guys. Have a great day. Bye.